Okay, so this is Mikhail Budkowski, obviously speaking about community.
Yes, so I will, as you can see, there will be only 10 lessons, so if it's too long, you can know, okay, there's only 10 more. And 17 months, because this is more or less the time when we started working on Kiwi. And before we start, I will give you a little bit context, what is Kiwi, because I will reference to all our experiences. And whenever you hear me talking about our experiences, please try to filter it through your product or your idea or things that you know, so you can just adapt our experience to your particular case. So what is Kiwi? It looks like this. If you are familiar with Hacker News, this is basically crypto Hacker News that's also decentralized, built on top of peer-to-peer protocol. So basically it means like people submit links related to crypto, like news, essays, products, view dashboard, and so on. And other people upvote these links, if they like them, of course. And they can also comment on these links. So the idea is to have like all most important crypto news, essays, and products in one app. So you don't need to scroll Twitter for an hour, subscribe to 27 newsletters, 8 podcasts, and 51 group chats. So this is the idea. And of course, all this thing is being done by the community. So that's why community building for us was like super important thing. And it's used by builders from these and like other companies. And the reason I highlight that is because all lessons here are about builders community. I have no experience with traders community, VCs community, or NFT artists community. Of course, we have some NFT artists, we have some VCs, we have some traders, but it's predominantly builders. So have this filter in mind. And this is the scale we have. We have like 1,400 people who check out every month, about 500 people in the community, and 120 people who submit, upvote, and comment on links every month. Of course, it fluctuates. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less. So before we start, bear in mind that it's hindsight. It's not like we knew all that things and we are like super smart, like McKinsey consultants that make a smart presentation how to build a community. We learned everything as we were going through that. So this is our hindsight analysis here. I see no one's laughing, so that's a corny joke. Sorry, but I found it funny. So, okay, what is a community? Like, do you have any thoughts? Like, if you had to define community with one sentence, what is it? Core users. Okay. Do we have anything more? That's a good one. I see everyone is so active with their ideas. Okay. Let's say core users, you could say, well, these are people that are interested in things you do. These are people who care. These are people who, I know, they can solve their problems with your product or your community. But I think this is okay, but there's a very broad definition that I like the most, that community is just a container. It's a container for things that are already happening. So many people, whenever they come to building a community, they're like, oh yeah, I do this, I don't know, DeFi derivatives trading platform, and I want to build a community. So I want now everyone to care about DeFi derivatives. But it's hard to build something out of thin air. It's more like you build a container for something people already care about. Kind of like you build a product, you know, for the need that's already there. Like people wanted to move, so you build an Uber. If people didn't want to move by car, like Uber would be a total flop, and same with communities. So since we are in Poland, I will do a quick history lesson. This is a Solidarność, which was like a social movement that basically ended communism in Poland and eventually in Soviet Union. And the way it worked, it was a container for people who were dissatisfied with the system that we had. Particularly, it started with factory workers, but it expanded to many, many people. At the height, it had 10 million members, which was about 25% of all people in Poland was in that movement. And the reason it worked was because people were dissatisfied with the system. If everyone was happy with the system, there would be like 5 dudes saying, oh yeah, like it's bad, we should do something about it. But it wouldn't work. The same with Bitcoin. There was a reason why Satoshi put this reference to financial crisis in the Genesis block, because it was like a message like, hey, guy, if you, or girl, if you dislike the financial crisis, if you dislike these banksters, we are working on an alternative. So this was a container for people who thought that this problem is important and really wanted to put a lot of effort to do something about it. And another example, much less serious, is Constitution DAO, which, as we remember, wanted to buy the US Constitution. Eventually, they didn't manage to do it, but it was a container for all this optimism and this crazy bull run vibes that we had. Like, you know, we can do everything, whack me, you know, let's buy Constitution, let's, you know, reinvent the whole world and so on. So this was a container for that, and that's the reason why it worked. If, you know, try building Constitution DAO now, and like, good luck with these kind of vibes on the market. It's just like you wouldn't have people to put in that container. So if you build a community, it's important to catch the wave. In our case, catching the people that we caught, the container that we built was for people who were looking for relevant crypto content that's just not, you know, just like Twitter, gotcha takes, like, you know, dunking. They just wanted to have a nuanced conversation. So we didn't create this community out of thin air. We just created a container for these people. The second thing, it's like a first cast from Tim where Kiwi was live. And whenever you say, okay, I have a container. I want, you know, have these people that care about some problem or have share some vibes. Now the question is, where do you find these people? What we did back then, what basically Tim started, was he was like, hey, I'm on Farcaster. I know a lot of people there. I will start on Farcaster. And this is where we got a lot of our initial users, because we thought, well, people like crypto content. They are dissatisfied with crypto Twitter because they went to Farcaster. Otherwise, they would stay at crypto Twitter. So we thought that there's a good opening here. And there was, but you know, for you, it doesn't mean that you need to start on Farcaster. It could be like Telegram group chat, Discord channel, Reddit, maybe some comment section of some, you know, crypto influencer. Like let's say you want to go after Ethereum Foundation researchers, then the best way to find them is to go to ETH Research, Ethereum Magicians, and probably comment section of people who work at ETH. So in our case, it was Farcaster. Eventually, we grew up and went to Twitter and other places, but we were very particular about looking after people that care about the thing that we care about as well. So this is, sorry, I'm not sure if I should share it, but like I shared it because it's like a very strong message that was here. So it's like, GM, we are changing our moderation policy, and I want to enforce it more strictly in the upcoming days. Comically, I set out to create Kiwi News as an opposing pole to Hacker News, which has become too mainstream fiat and Web 2. But I'm frankly also bored by the submission on Kiwi News for the past few days, and I think we can do much better in terms of link novelty factor and by not submitting non-newsworthy links or links that are generally me. So this was a controversial take, right? Because people are like, yeah, I'm submitting link, like I think it's interesting. And Tim says, well, I think it's not interesting, basically. But it was a great move, although like super risky. Because if you run a community, it's very easy to lose the niche that you're after. You know, we run a website where you can put on links. So if Tim hasn't reacted back then, people in a month would submit links. Oh, it's a cute cat video, you know, and here's like a very funny article about Middle Eastern politics. Yes, but like we were after crypto and crypto adjacent content. So if we haven't protected that, it would just like become this faceless mob, not a community anymore. So what we did, of course, afterwards is we worked with the community. We created like guidelines, like this is what we are looking for, and this is what we are not looking for. And the fact that we did it with the community, it felt like organic and they could be heard. So that was very effective. And these guidelines are up to this day online. And we basically have no problem with content that's off topic. It's just, it just doesn't exist. So if you create a community and you have some niche that you're after, you need to really protect it and just be very specific what it is about. So if it's about DeFi derivatives and someone posts about NFTs, then probably you should react to that. Although it feels cringe, right? Because you're like, yeah, someone is active. I want any activity because it's just like a small group chat. But it may kill your community in the long run. The other thing is like, this is a post from a long, long time ago, because, you know, the whole idea was, okay, people are supposed to submit links, but we had no users, so how do you get links? So the way we found out a way to bootstrap the community and the links was like, hey, there's a smart guy that everyone likes. Let's ask him for free links that he would like to share with the world. And this is how Kiwi looked for the first few weeks or even months, where there were just like free links every day on the website, submitted by a specific person. And the reason it worked was because on Twitter, you cannot share links. Like you can, but, you know, algorithm doesn't like it. On Farcaster, you could do it, but like if someone shared like 5 links per day, it doesn't feel like a social app, right? It feels like, I don't know, news app. So it wasn't a good place. So we gave people a new way to express themselves. And if you create a community, it's also good to find for them a new way to express themselves. Because like, you know, I'm part of probably 50 group chats. If you say, hey, bro, can you come to my group chat? I'm like, okay, but like, why? Like, what new can I find there that I don't have in my 50 group chats? Maybe it's just you post memes. Maybe you just post, you know, the most interesting things from Twitter every day. Or maybe it's just like about some ZK tag that's like super specific. Or maybe people that you have there are very elaborate when it comes to comments. So they're just, you know, they share a lot of knowledge and I can learn a lot. And also I can contribute to that. Then this community is interesting. Otherwise, it's just like another group chat. Other thing, these are just like some links from our website. But I mentioned Solidarność and Constitution DAO at the beginning. Solidarność right now is not that important, not as important as it was before. Constitution DAO is basically, I don't know if it either exists, but like it's like not important anymore. The reason is because they had a finite game. The game for Solidarność was to end communism. Communism ended, so the community just, you know, disengaged, right? With Constitution DAO, the goal was to buy a constitution. They didn't manage to do it, so the community just disassembled. With Bitcoin, it's different because it's an infinite game. Like probably, hopefully it's not an infinite game, but and we'll finally change the financial system and have a good alternative. But for now, it feels like infinite game. So you can be focused on crypto and Bitcoin for years, decades probably, and still have something to do. In our case, the thing is curating links. So, you know, every day there's new crypto content. And the longer crypto is, there will be more crypto content. So this is an infinite game to play with the community. So if you build your community, it's good to think about infinite game, like something that you can do every day or like every week, but it wouldn't end with some event just like Solidarność and Constitution DAO, because then people can just get engaged and can last forever. And yeah, this is a picture from our meetup in Istanbul. We had meetups in Istanbul, Warsaw, Paris, Brussels, Berlin. Also, I met a lot of people in LA, New York. And we meet a lot in real life because, first of all, it's nice not to like to talk with people instead of chatting with some usernames on Telegram. But also because it makes things real. There's this story from GitHub co-founder where he said that, you know, GitHub is as digital product as it gets. It's for developers who typically work from home or from office, and it's online and it's for code. It's like, why do you even need to get out of the building? But he said that he spent years just traveling the world and having beer with every developer that he could meet, just because he felt like this personal connection is important. And for us, it's also very important because let's say you have 100 users. You would be like, well, 100 users, then it's not a lot. But let's say all your users came to your talk. Then if you have 100 people for your talk, that's like, you feel like, well, this is a serious thing. I would prepare very well and so on. But because on the internet, we often don't feel that these numbers are real, it's easy to just not appreciate the thing that you build. And when people meet in real life, of course, they talk about everything, you know, about their pets, hobbies, whatever they like. So this is also very valuable. So this is something that we also recommend. The other thing, you know, when we started, we used a lot of memes to have something. Actually, I had this task in my app where every day I tried to make some meme about Kiwi. Some of them were cringe, some of them were funny, but eventually it was working well, but at some point we decided to stop it. And the reason we decided to stop it was because, you know, sometimes you feel there is a vibe, but sometimes you feel the vibe died off. Like it's kind of like playing, you know, old song right now. You could play, let's say, I know, Harlem Shake. If you tried to record Harlem Shake in 2024, it would feel like very off. Like, what the hell are you doing? You're not like cool anymore. And same with memes. We felt like this meme kind of died out. We created this website where you can learn about it. We created some NFT collection during on-chain summer to just like commemorate it and finish, but we stopped using it. So I would say it's useful to share memes and symbols, but only when they are relevant. Otherwise, you feel like this, you know, hello, fellow kids guy, where it tries to be funny, but it's not funny anymore. The other thing, these are on the left-hand side, there's a screenshot from our bot on Twitter, and on the right-hand side, there's a newsletter cover. So what we do is, whenever someone submits a good link, it gets a lot of upvotes, it gets reposted on Twitter, Farcaster, and our newsletter. And this is a subtle thing, but very powerful, because, you know, when people put energy and time into your community, it's nice to reward it, right? Like, and the way we reward it is like, okay, we have some distribution, and we share this distribution with you, and everyone will know that, in this case, zinc.eth shares a cool stuff. So we had some, you know, user calls when we spoke, hey, why do you even use Kiwi? Do you even care about it? Like, why do you even open the app? And some people told us, well, you know, I joined you and I posted 2 links, and one of them got into the newsletter, and I felt, wow, people really noticed that I share cool stuff, and this is very nice reward that I got. So of course, you don't need to have a newsletter. It could be like, you know, weekly group chat post that says, oh, this person was cool and very active. Or you could do it inside your app. There are many ways to do it. But it's very important to appreciate the effort that people put in. And here, you can even go one step further. This is a very cryptic Etherscan transaction. But this transaction actually says that we distributed funds from our multisig with our contributors. So we are a bootstraps product, so we don't have a lot of money. I would even say we are on the like low end of having money. But despite that, since the beginning, we have been sharing about 10% of all revenue and grants with contributors. So people who shipped code, who run Dune dashboards, did some graphic design consulting, or helped us in any other way. And already we shared like $13,000, $14,000, which is like quite a big sum. And it worked great. I was against it. The team came up with this idea. I was against it because I was like, man, we are poor. Like, how can you share money when you're poor, right? You share money when you're rich. This is how it works. But it worked very well because it has given people understanding that this is really about the community, and they share the upsides. So the bigger we grow, the easier it is for them to also make money. And, you know, it's nice to say, you know, like a boss at work says, oh yeah, good job. But, you know, if they give you a bonus, it's a much stronger signal than saying good job. So this is something that we started doing, and this is something I would recommend you doing, even if, first sums were trivial. They were like, $10, $5, $20, but it just made things real. And the last thing, what we did with our group chat is we kind of turned it into company Slack. So we share a lot of ideas and problems that we have with our community, and we help them co-create the product. We also have community calls, of course, where we discuss them through audio or video. But it really helped people, kind of like with IKEA, if you spend 3 hours assembling this desk, you're like, well, I really like this desk. Now it's very personal thing, very emotional. And same with the community and the product, because then it feels like you co-created it. You feel this psychological ownership. You might not have shares, or because we don't have any LLC or anything like that, but you have this psychological ownership that you co-created something that you use. So quick recap before we end. So find the wave, because communities are containers. Learn where are people interested in what you do. Protect your niche. Help users express themselves in a new way. Find an infinite game to play together. Connect in real life. Share memes and symbols until they stop being relevant. Give people social recognition. Share money with most active contributors. And let them co-create the product. If someone wants to take a picture, now there are 5 seconds, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we go. So if you want, we have a Kiwi ETHWarsaw meetup today. So if you scan this QR code, you can get all the details. If you are here, you can come without waiting for being approved or anything like that. It's just 1 minute from here. And it's going to happen half an hour or something like that. So yeah, do you have any questions?
In terms of actual channels such as Telegram or Discord, do you have any, and what's your take? Are they difficult to manage in your opinion?
Yeah, so we are Telegram centric. I feel like Discord was a thing for 21, 22 era. I feel like now Discords kind of die off, they're not as active. And Telegram, what we learned talking with some users, they say, well, I use Telegram for work. So when I see some posts on a group chat, it's harder to miss than if you have to open a separate app like Discord. So I'm a team Telegram, although now it could be hard with Durov getting arrested. So let's see where it's going to lead us.
I wanted to ask, what was your strategy for onboarding first 100 community members? Because you can create a lot of posts, etc., but at one time it needs to be well known.
Yeah, this is a great question. So actually with 100, and I would say probably even 300, 400, 500 first people, we had either video call or just chatted with them on Telegram. Every single person, unless I missed someone, sorry. But we really were very elaborate about making them feel welcome, asking them why they joined us in the first place, what are their expectations, what do they do for work, because it's also important for us to understand. Now we do it less regularly because of 100 things to do and so on. And also it's if we already have a community, then our community members can also do part of this work as well. But yeah, it was very, how Paul Graham called it, schlep, where you just do this work that's it's very manual and sometimes very tiring, but it was definitely worth it.
So can I ask also, colleague asked about the first onboarding part, but what do you do and what do you think is the good option to keep this community engaged? Because as you said, we have like 100 first, then the community grow, and yeah, what we can do.
Yeah, sure. So in our case, it's easier because our app is about sharing and upvoting links. So they have something to do every day, and it's pretty low key. Like if you are into crypto and you read interesting article and clicking upvote, it's just a few minutes per day. But there are things that you can do, like polls or like making tagging relevant people. So let's say you have a conversation about DeFi and you have someone who's into DeFi in your community, tagging them and trying to engage them inside the conversation. But also sometimes we had people who were not active for a long time because they just forgot, because people have, they have wives, kids, work, traveling, and so on. So sometimes I just DM'd people that were not active and I asked them, hey, why you're not active? And sometimes it was because we did something that didn't work. And sometimes it was just, oh no, sorry, like I was like super busy. And then they returned. Also, like some people will leave. And this is painful, of course, but it's very important to understand that if you protect your niche, some people will not like it because they want something broader. And that's fine, like unless you are very confident about the niche you are after. Thank you.